Overseas now in the escalating crisis with Russia over Ukraine. Secretary of State Antony Blinken arriving in the region on a high-stakes mission to avert a Russian invasion. Our senior foreign correspondent Pannell is on the ground.
This morning, America's top diplomats landing here in Ukraine for talks to try to prevent Russian military action, meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky and reaffirming U.S. support for Ukraine.
We've made very clear to Moscow that if it chooses to renew aggression against Ukraine, it will be met and it will face very severe consequences.
The White House ramping up its rhetoric, claiming a Russian invasion could happen at any moment.
Let's be clear. Our view is this is an extremely dangerous situation. We're now at a stage where Russia could at any point launch an attack in Ukraine.
Overnight, the Russian embassy in Washington responding on Twitter, again denying they've any such plans, saying, "We stress once again, Russia isn't going to attack anyone." But at the same time, it's deploying yet more troops and hardware, now arriving in Belarus to Ukraine's north for war games, adding to the pressure from thousands already massing in the east. Vladimir Putin threatening a military technical response unless he gets a guarantee that Ukraine won't join NATO, but not saying what that could mean. Secretary of State Blinken heading to Geneva Friday and another face-to-face with Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov.
Joining us now from the Ukraine. You're there on the ground. Talk to us more about Blinken's agenda and what do we know about his meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky?
Yeah, that's right. So his first meeting was with the Ukrainian president, and then he's been meeting with the Ukrainian foreign minister, and they are about to hold a joint press conference. In fact, I believe it is now getting underway. I think the messaging has been fairly clear from the United States that they're standing shoulder to shoulder with the Ukrainians, offering their full support. They've obviously been providing military equipment and some training. They announced, for example, on the plane, although we knew that this was coming, $200 million worth of more equipment being provided to the Ukrainians. So I think this is about shoring up support, showing solidarity with the Ukrainians, letting them know that they're not going to make any decisions that the Ukrainians don't want. President Zelensky affirming that they do want to potentially be part of NATO. And that is the sticking point for the Russians. And that is what really Blinken is going to have to deal with when he meets Lavrov. The Russians setting out their position again this morning, the head of their delegation very clearly saying, we want two things. We want guarantees Ukraine won't join NATO, and we want NATO troops to pull back from Russia's borders. The latter is doable. The first is certainly not. And so the gulf between the two sides is as wide as ever.
All right, well, you pointed out in your piece, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki here back in our nation's capital saying we're now at a stage where Russia could at any point launch an attack. So what happens next, and what are you paying attention to today?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they're basically saying they've got all the resources in place to potentially launch an attack. We should stress that the Kremlin has repeatedly denied it has any plans to invade or attack Ukraine. The Russian embassy in Washington, D.C. overnight responding to Jen Psaki, basically saying, we're restating that we don't have any such plans. However, at the same time, it's massing tens of thousands of troops, as many as 100,000 on Ukraine's eastern border. Now we've got these more troops taking part in war games in Belarus to Ukraine's north. So there are real concerns that why would Russia put all of these men and munitions in place if it didn't plan some kind of military response? Vladimir Putin's made it very clear that if he doesn't get the concessions, the guarantees that he wants, then there will be a, quote, military technical response. No one really knows exactly what that means, but it seems that they've created so much of a build-up of troops and equipment, it's very hard to climb down from that without looking like you lose face in some way. And I think that is a dangerous situation for many people. The talks on Friday with Lavrov are absolutely critical to try and take the sting out of this, try and see if there is common ground. But if you take the public statements at face value, and we've got no reason not to, then there isn't a compromise there to be done. The ball then goes into the Kremlin's court, and we'll find out what a military technical response really is.
Pannell there in Ukraine for us. Thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.